Why do men get so offended if women ignore their advances? No, they think lashing out is going to make themselves feel better about being rejected. It won't. A lot of men aren't taught how to handle their emotions and so are extremely sensitive, which they mask with aggression because they're also extremely insecure. It's really bad. I'll never understand that about some guys. Some of them don't like being told no and think just because you compliment someone or be nice to them they should automatically win their love over. From a gay man's perspective, it's very common for a guy to wear a mask of extreme friendliness while they think they have a chance of sleeping with you, only for it to slip revealing a nasty little asshat as soon as they realize sex with you isn't happening. They feel insulted. And so insulting you feels defensive to them. Not offensive. It's also sour grapes. As in they comfort their egos telling themselves, meh, I didn't really want you that much anyway. If a guy reacts that way you know you made the right decision. I went on a date with a guy and afterwards told him I just wanted to be friends. And ended up having to block him on every messaging app because he felt so injured by my rejection. He thought randomly insulting me would make him look any better somehow. Not like a psychopath. Because, generally speaking, the amazingly small percentage of men who are able to approach you without any preamble are either players or narcissists. Neither one of these types of people take rejection well. I can't find it, but SNL had a funny skit about men using the latest post-Me Too rhetoric to present themselves as women's ally, and then take being turned down badly. It can be a combination of multiple things. Delusion, fragile ego, or not being able to handle rejection. On one hand, it's true that our society creates the expectation that men should be forward-going and women should approve or reject advances, never make them. On the other hand, pickup coaches create the illusion that if you do X, Y, and Z, a woman won't be able to turn you down. In the end, attraction is very subjective and more often than not reciprocal, so it's good if men and women speak up when they are fond of a candidate. But they should also be able to handle rejection elegantly. I rejected a guy for a high five once and flinched in fear. Out the front of a gas station in the middle of the night on an empty street while I was alone and he threatened to knock me out over it. They want something, they aren't getting it, so they get mad. It's toddler logic. Men that get their relationship tips from media are repeatedly taught that being predatory is what they're meant to be. You're meant, in their lessons, to be demure and be worn down by their efforts. Just being yourself, saying no in a correctly assertive manner, is something they didn't even think was a possibility. And that's when their role as the character in a romantic situation as shown in movies drops in. They show their true personality. Those guys act like dicks right then because you're privileged to see, or lucky to see, their true selves at that exact moment. They're feckless wankers, spoiled brats, frustrated in their failure even though you were never a prize or an attainment for them to win. Most comments here are about either apologizing or attacking. But in case Op actually wanted an answer to the question, the brain handles sexual rejection differently than other emotions. MRI scans have showed it to feel identical to physical pain in the brain. So while it's inexcusable to be rude, their emotionally unregulated reaction is on par to physical attack. The only solution is to simultaneously dissociate from the result, just not care or pretend it wasn't personal, and also remain emotionally invested to approach procreation. Goes deep in our evolutionary psychology that rejection of the advance doesn't feel like it's just about the advance, but our entire worthiness. On top of that there's the social embarrassment. which lowers our value to our friends and makes us feel less masculine. It's why approaching women is so terrifying for most men. Because your brain is getting ready for a punch in the face while your friends watch. Of course, none of this excuses rudeness or entitlement afterwards. But that would be the answer to the question. Because they rather think you're a bitch than there being something wrong with them or their approach. Are nice guys. I just saw this with a good friend. He was interested in my friend. I thought they'd get along well. But she didn't feel a connection and rejected him kindly. He got so mopey. He even snapped at me. It was honestly embarrassing to see him act that way. And he's genuinely a good dude. It seemed like an ego and pride thing. Like an innate angry reaction. It was so strange because he is emotionally intelligent. It definitely made me glad she wasn't into him though. And made me curious what he is like in a relationship versus as a friend. They put in the nice coins and they're wondering why the sex didn't fall out. It's because women aren't vending machines. They're still confused. Hey baby, want some action? No, understandable, have a nice day, jumps off bridge. It's pretty simple, really. Most men that take upon themselves to approach a woman in a bar or club have a relatively high opinion of themselves. Not all, but most. They can't imagine that if they were hit on by a woman, they wouldn't be into it. Of course, women hit on men with much less frequency. So when those guys get their advances rejected, their thought process doesn't go to, she must be tired of hearing this over and over, or, she must not want to talk to a total stranger right now. It goes straight to, if I were in her position, I'd never pass up the opportunity to talk to someone like me. So naturally, that woman must be stuck up or bitchy. It could be why many women handle rejection more gracefully. They have been on the receiving end of being hit on and can empathize with why someone says no. I learned this particular lesson when I turned 27. My friend and I went out to a bar and we saw this girl getting hit on. She turned the guy down and he called her a bunch of names. I asked my friend what he thought about the whole thing. He then told me one of the most important things I've ever heard. Girls are sluts who smell like butts and guys are cool and born to rule. Everything changed after that. Yeah, you have the right to reject them. Some men are just kind of toxic. I was thinking, well, if you're just going to ignore them, but no, you just meant rejecting them. Which is honestly just fine. They're just assholes that can't handle rejection and are acting like the perfect nice guy. This happened a lot when I used to play games online with a mic. Because communication can be important when you're working in teams. Which is why I don't really play any multiplayer online games anymore. I just got sick of it.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Eracast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.